That's hilarious. We didn't get the opportunity to get him. He signed a deal. What was the deal?
Too much.
Hey, we live.
Welcome back to the All Things Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Julian. I'm here with Kev, EP.
Yo.
What's going on?
What up? Listen, man, NFC East preview. Last year was exciting.
It's that time.
Jalen Hurts became a superstar in front of everybody. The Giants went to their furthest, playoff win since the Eli days. So I think the last one was what versus Aaron Rodgers? Was that the last one?
Last time
if I'm
the
not
Giants
mistaken.
won the playoff game.
Right. Like that year, was it that year that they had to play Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay? That was like 2016.
Could have been.
So, but anyways, we got the Commanders who are still in the in the changes of their franchise history with ownership issues and name changes, but they also have good young pieces over there like Robinson, McLaurin. We can see what they're going to do this year, and the Cowboys, right? Everybody's favorite team.
Stephen A. Smith.
Dak Prescott, 15 interceptions. We were talking about it, and we talked about it all last year when he was doing it. So we're going to get into a division breakdown, and we'll talk about what we think about these teams going into the next year. But I know it's always a busy week with All-Star when All-Star week is around in MLB. So, you saw that home run derby. Did you see Julio Rodriguez? I think we don't got Kev, you hear E?
No, I think you might be muted, E.
So, Kev, did you see Julio Rodriguez?
I did see Julio Rodriguez. He was my pick to win it at home.
Right.
He unfortunately ended up running into the eventual champion, though, but he put on a show in that first round for sure for the home crowd.
Yeah, it was exciting. He knew he would have to, facing Pete Alonso in the first round, he was going to have to put up 35 plus. Pete Alonso had just broke the home run derby record, I think, in 2021. And, Julio Rodriguez in front of the home crowd was going to have all the energy in the world, but only for that first round. Not to say he didn't do good throughout the rest, but it took a lot. And, Vladdy, another Dominican, which is lit, took that. Yeah, but Vladimir swings pure.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And yeah, he hasn't even been hitting for power this year too much.
Mm-hmm.
He's been just hitting for average. But I want to see, because the trend always seems to be whoever wins the home run derby, or even whoever advances far enough in the home run derby, kind of seems to taper off as the season after the All-Star break. And I think it has a lot to do with you get into that motion of just swinging for the fences so much, just over and over 100 times, over and over. You practice for the home run derby. You're taking swings in the batting cage during it. You're taking swings in the derby. So it's a lot of just swings, a lot going on with the body. So I don't know if it's fatigue usually that does it, but for whatever reason, it seems to be whoever usually wins the derby or goes far enough in the derby seems to. The power at least dips a little bit second half of the
Definitely.
season.
I mean, did you see Mookie Betts? Shout out to Mookie Betts for even participating. And it was cool to hear, like, his wife wanted him to do it because, it's like, what hasn't he done in baseball at this point? So looking back at your career in 10, 15 years, you can say you competed for the home run derby, knowing obviously going against Vladdy, Pete Alonso, Julio, and guys like that. Even like Luis Robert was in there. You don't really stand a chance. You're a pool hitter, barely home.
Yeah, he's
I don't
more
want
of
to. All right, I'm going crazy. That's a little crazy.
Well, no,
but for a derby
like,
is different.
It's like Vlad in a way. Like, he's not really a power hitter. Which Vlad, it's weird that he's not like considered a power hitter because he's just got that build and that swing that looks like he'll hit 40 a year.
His dad,
but like we said, yeah, that too. So, but it's like we said. His swing is more just like, it's such a pure swing that he's got. So Same with Mookie. I think it's just more of like he's just looking to put the ball in play and
Right.
put
Right.
it
And
where he
he's a
can get
great
on
hitter.
base.
Yeah, he's a
So
great hitter. He doesn't need
yeah,
a slug. Shout out to Mookie Betts. He should have never went to LA. Should have stayed with the
the
Red Sox.
the funniest part about that interview with his wife though, while he was swinging, I think he was about to go into the bonus time, and they asked his wife, "What do you think he needs to do here?" She was like, "Oh, he just needs to go have fun.
Have some
He's
fun.
just go have some fun."
Yeah, that's real though. That's real. I mean, that's a cool moment for him in general. But yo, E, we good with you? What's up? What's up? Nah, it's looking bleak. All right, all right. Well, just my vibe with us. Kev, anything else before we get into the NFC East? What did you have?
No, All-Star game was great. I think Luis Ariz is fucking incredible. Like, I don't know. I mean, they brought in Ozzy Albies. Obviously, it's the All-Star game, so you got to like give him some playing time. But if you would have left Ariz in, I mean, National League ended up winning the game anyway, so didn't do too much harm. But he did come up with, I believe it was runners on the corners and 2 out in his first at bat, which would have been Ariz's spot. And Albies did end up striking out in that situation. So
Yeah.
I would have liked to see what Ariz could have done and possibly could have put him to win the MVP there too.
That would have been dope. But I like the story of the guy who comes in and hits the game, winning home run essentially to win the MVP. And he had mentioned that his coach told him, like, yo, I'm going to put you in. You're going to hit a home run. And it's like, this is a vet too. This isn't like a young rookie, he's a vet. And he hits a home run in his first All-Star game. You get to win a truck.
Yeah.
You'll win the truck. But it's also some free agents like Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook. We know Dalvin Cook and Miami have a pipeline because he's from Florida. It doesn't look like he wants to take the deal that they're offering. That's what I heard. But what do you got, Kev?
I know the Jets are very much in on Dalvin Cook.
Of course.
It's right.
We're only 7 minutes in.
Well, I know. I will say though, it's crossed my mind because I know he wants to be a Dolphin. At the end of the day, he's from here. I know he wants to go to the Dolphins.
Right.
Is it a play? Because
is it a play? This man. Okay, we're talking about somebody that graduated from Florida State University.
No, not a play. But he wants to play for the Dolphins though, right? Like,
why wouldn't you want to play for the Hurricanes? You don't think he wanted to play for the Hurricanes?
I mean, that's college though.
And it's a bigger passion. So like, I think there's a pipeline. If he wants, not a pipeline, but like if he wants to play for the Jets, he'll end up doing that.
But how many? To your point, how many Florida State fans do you know in South Florida still? There's still a lot of FSU fans. No, but I'm saying it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to still be a Florida State fan growing up in Miami. Like it's not crazy to think that.
Right. But the thing, no. But being a fan is different from going to that school. Like you really grew up. I don't know. But I'm just saying I don't think it's as big of a deal in the NFL because he might want to play for the Dolphins and live in South Florida, but at the same time, the Jets are also situated and they have a good system going, it looks like, in the future. So, like, it's not a bad place to be.
The Jets, right.
Unless he doesn't want to follow the Le'Veon Bell trail.
Well, no, I think he'll be in a good position, much better position. He's got a much better quarterback right now than Le'Veon Bell ever had with the Jets, and a much better coach.
That's fair.
Team. But, just overall, franchise, everything. But at the end of the day, it does seem like if he wanted to already be somewhere, he would have been there. And I think the only thing he wants from Miami is maybe more money.
Little bread,
So I think he could be using the Jets as a little bit of a leverage to maybe – because at the end of the day, the Jets get him, it takes from the Dolphins. The Dolphins get him, it takes from the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a leverage play on his end. It could because I do know the Jets.
No, that's a great way. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it because you guys don't need him, but you would be happy to have him, of course, especially with a guy who's coming off injury. Like it just gives you more confidence. Like offer it. Having more running backs that are good, still is a plus. But the leverage point, I wonder how far he'll take it into this training camp thing, are you not going to sign and not be with the team for the first few weeks because of a contract? Like at that point, do the teams not want to put as much pressure on getting you?
Yeah, no, I think he'll be with the team before training camp, which for the Jets starts next week. So we'll see. But which, by the way, Hard Knocks, I'm very excited for.
Say
Um,
fact. We'll get into it.
yeah. But yeah, Dalvin Cook, I think, yeah, where he ends up is going to be interesting. I think it's down to the Jets or the Dolphins. But if he does go to the Jets, I will say Jordan Whitehead, who is a safety for the Jets now and was on that Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, said a couple of weeks ago that there's a big resemblance in the two teams. You have a defensive-minded head coach. You have a veteran quarterback who's a future Hall of Famer. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady, but you bring in a guy like Dalvin Cook who can play that Leonard Fournette role, like Leonard Fournette was able to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially down the Super Bowl stretch. I think that could be a huge get for the Jets.
Certainly. EP, throw up the deuces. That's hilarious. Oh man, yo. So Kev, last year, obviously the Eagles win the NFC East. They're the runner-ups in the Super Bowl. Came short. Patrick Mahomes and Kadarius Toney really, right, was one of the bigger changing points. And I guess the Jalen Hurts fumble was a big key point in that game. Nonetheless, they did win their division last year. Cowboys had a good season, played in the playoffs. They struggled, through the season, but were able to manage getting to the playoffs and winning in the playoffs. And then you got teams like the Commanders who still trying to figure it out at quarterback because, I mean, Taylor Heineke, as much as they respect him and as much as he's done to kind of earn that respect, you know what I mean? It's not like he hasn't won them games. It's still a rough situation, if you will, to expect them to really compete for a championship this year. But the division, I mean, it's not the hardest feat for them at the same time. And then you got the Cowboys. Not the Cowboys, excuse me, the Giants. So with Daniel Jones, I was just going to say real quick, getting the deal and Saquon, still working on that contract, or is he going to play or sit out? That's interesting. What were you going to say?
So Heineke's actually in Atlanta. No.
Carson Wentz.
They drafted Sam Howell and they signed Jacoby Brissett. So probably looking at Jacoby Brissett starting for the Commanders. I'd assume. I mean, I guess we'll see as training camp evolves.
I'm proud to learn. Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starting quarterback in Washington. But Sam Howell. Yeah, no, Sam Howell ended the season on a good note. Now that I think about it, that's crazy. They went from Carson Wentz, they went from Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett. That's kind of that Colts quarterback purgatory that we saw in Indianapolis for some time. I mean, thankfully we got our franchise guy, but they're going through that right now. They have weapons. I just don't think their defense is good enough to compete in that division. And overall, you got to be able to run the ball. And as good as Robinson was, and came back from an injury, you can't just see it once and expect it to just happen. Especially when you're having quarterback competition, you don't know who's starting. All that affects this. So I'm excited to see what the Commanders are going to do.
Yeah, I think whenever you got a Ron Rivera, your team's always going to compete and have some sort of physicality to it, especially on defense. So I think the question for them, it becomes, what can you do on offense? Because you can have all the weapons in the world. If you don't have a quarterback to get him the ball, you don't really have much going for you. So I'm not sure, what they'd be able to do offensively. But we'll see. They've got new ownership, so we'll see if that is the first step in the right direction for them in the first place. So,
and players got to play. Coaches got to coach. At the end of the day, this year, you're back. Yo, E, you just saved the show. I just want to let everybody know right now. EP has just saved the show.
That was crazy, bro.
We were in the Matrix for just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That was wild. I don't even know.
Little bit.
The studio mic went out. Had to plug,
my co-producer studio just went out real quick. It was a thing, but guess what?
Podcast mic in.
Ain't nothing to somebody who can handle a situation. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. We back.
Come on, you can't keep E out the game, dog.
Come on, man.
Like
with that being said, E, how do you feel at this point?
All right, so cool. Now that I'm back, all right, let me get.
Yeah, you can get your shit off now. Like,
yeah, all that. Shout out to Vlad.
Mm-hmm. Shout to Vladdy. Yeah. That's great. That's great. We're glad to have you back.
We were I think we just finished giving our input on the Commanders.
Whatever input that was, honestly, because I'm sorry, but that was that. Shout out to Andy Reid. Shout out to the Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. Yeah. Right. Yo, I love how he found a way to come here and talk his Chiefs championship shit. Oh man.
I also think I would like to see with Terry McLaurin with the enemy now, because I think Terry McLaurin has top 10, maybe top 5 receiver potential in the league if he's utilized correctly. And he hasn't had a quarterback, unfortunately, and a consistent offense to be in, but he's still shown that he's been
That's
consistently a top 20 receiver in the league. So I'm
even 15, like arguably 15. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, 100%. And you know, obviously a part of it is being used right, and a part of it is the quarterback, but it's also him too. Like, he has more, you know what I mean? And we got to see more. Like, as good as he is and has been, and the situation has been, he just still, we still haven't seen how good he can be, you know what I mean? And I believe he's going to have a really good year this year. Chase Young, that situation is interesting for me because are they going to trade him? Are they going to sign him? What are we doing? If not, who's, you know, what was he, the first pick of the draft?
Second.
I mean, it's only, second pick of the draft. So,
and he showed potential in his first couple. It's really a health thing with him. Is can he stay healthy?
That stature, like frame, athleticism, it's freak of nature type thing. So, you know, you need that on your defensive line. Like Myles Garrett, if he ever became available, everybody wants that because
right.
Look at Myles Garrett, you know.
Yeah, and Chase Young is also somebody who, if he stays healthy for the season and has the production that he can have, with his talent level, he could have a big payday this offseason too,
and
because they
in
did
a
pass on
sense,
that 5th year.
rightfully so, but not to a certain extent. However, he's shown with his talent and that frame that that's what gets you paid in the league, and he has production. It's not like he doesn't play good; he just doesn't play all the time. And you have to believe as a franchise, you're not going to just if you're in a position where you have some cap, you're going to be the one, offering the bigger deal. But at the same time, you put a high risk, high reward type of investment on this kid because he can bring you instant success, instant pressure, instant athleticism, and it's just like playmaking because he's a playmaking defensive end. So you don't necessarily see that all the time, and I think in this NFL with these quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, you need an athletic, fast, strong defensive end to set the edge. So I'm just interested. Are they going to trade him to the Colts? I don't know. A third and a fifth. You take it.
I'll also say real quick to E's point on the reports of things changing in the within the personnel and the coaching staff and the meetings and things like that. As a Jets fan, it all sounds great until week 1. And then you're like, oh, okay, we're still the same team.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Hey, I got a quick question. Vegas has Commanders total wins this season at a line of 6.5 wins. Over or
I'm
under,
taking
gentlemen?
the over.
You're
I'm taking
the
the over. I'm not gonna lie. If it
Commanders
stayed at
over
6.5 right now, I'll take the over on that.
I'm gonna take the under just because
you could get the 6.
Well, look at who they're playing. They've got the Eagles twice. Yeah, and the 6 is exactly where I think they're gonna be. Like 5 or 6.
They got the NFC East twice. Yes.
NFC and the AFC East this year. So
okay. I didn't know they played the AFC East. Okay, so with more knowledge on the bet, I would ask the dealer for my money back, please, or just place another bet for more money to get the money back. But I would take the AFC East. They play the whole AFC East.
I believe so because I know the Jets and the Giants play.
They play Miami and Buffalo. Go to Washington.
Washington's gonna beat the Eagles. Washington is gonna beat the Giants one of the games. Washington, and they might win one versus each, but they'll definitely win 2.
And they have to go to Foxborough and go to the Jets.
They're not gonna win 3 versus their division, but they can win 2 in that division.
So you think they go 2-4 in the division?
They can.
I think they're lucky if they pull off a 1-5.
And I feel you. This is where I'm starting to watch myself because at this point last year, it's the look. You know what I'm saying? It's the look. So it's like, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, no, I think they can win 2 games in this division. And when do they play the Eagles? Like, when do they play?
They play the Eagles. They go to Philadelphia week 4. And then Philadelphia travels to them week 8.
Oh, okay. Vote for 4.5.
I was gonna say I hope it's not ring night for Philly because that's an automatic loss.
Week 4.
Oh, Philly don't get a ring.
Well, you would think ring night's a prime time game, and I would hope they don't put the Commanders on prime time. But you ain't trying to see that.
Yo,
give them one of those Amazon Prime games.
Those were bad last year, and I hope they do better. I hope they do better.
Yeah, those were bad.
So, Giants. I mean, let's talk about them. They drafted Jalen Hyatt. They got Paris Campbell. They got Bobby Okereke from the Colts, not in a trade, but signed him as free agents. Darren Waller is a big trade they did.
Mm-hmm.
They got offensive lineman Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal. They just signed Dexter Lawrence to an extension. They got Leonard Williams over there, who is with your boys. But it's all good. All is cool, right? I imagine, Kev.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not tripping about Leonard Williams.
no, he's thriving, and we signed Quinnen
You
now.
were,
So shout out to Q.
who would you rather have?
Oh, Q. Give me Q all day. That shouldn't even be a question.
Okay.
I'm asking the Jets fan. That's all.
But
It's a question for a Jets fan.
That shouldn't be a question for anybody. That's it.
Leonard Williams also deals with those
Do either of you
injuries.
think that we see heavy Giants regression this year?
No.
Do I think as a team,
Yeah, absolutely.
or do like in the so that's actually when we were talking about Washington, I was gonna say this, but I didn't want to guess. I didn't know if we were going to the Giants next, so I'm glad we did. But it's gonna I joke and say they're lucky if they get one, but it depends on like, are the Giants really who they were last year, or are they, do they come back down to earth? And it depends on Daniel Jones, really, I think.
Yeah, and they had a great run game last year. So Saquon Barkley getting back into the mix of this, hopefully with a contract, but regardless, playing for your team, I think is a big impact. And because we've seen him healthy, we've seen him hurt, and it's a clear difference what he does on the field. So he's won them a few games. He's going to continue to win them a few games. And if Daniel Jones has a as good of or even better year than he did last year, getting signed what he got paid for, their defense got faster. They have more weapons on the outside for Daniel Jones. Way more a tight end, a great tight end. Top 5, if you will. I think they're set on offense, and then on defense, it's a lot of young talent that's going to have to figure it out. They got Zimenez, they got Okereke, they have McKinney at safety, right?
Facts.
So
Facts.
They have pieces, and they also got Brad. Who's out there on their corner? Who's out there on their cornerback? I'm gonna tell you right now. Adoree Jackson. There you go. Adoree Jackson out there. Oh, they also got Kayvon Thibodeau. And they drafted Deontay Banks. So, the Giants are – I haven't even mentioned Coach Dable. And that was the first
Coach
thing that
year?
really,
Coach Dable?
Yeah. Coach of the year, Coach Dable. That was really the Eric Bieniemy thing we were talking about just now. He came in and instilled his culture and turned around a franchise that was really – at the bottom of the league, and he brought them to a playoff berth and a playoff win. So I don't think that, they had a good year, and I don't think that trajectory is one and done for them.
Vegas has them at 7.5. What do you guys think?
Over. And who do they play? Do they also play the AFCs? Who do they play?
They do.
Yeah, they'd have to.
But I like the over.
Ooh.
7.5. Yeah, I think they're at least.
Vegas likes the under.
Vegas likes the under for sure. I spoke on it. I think the Giants are going to be a good team.
Can I get even money? Is that even money on the over?
On the over 7.5, it's -110. It's about even almost.
Okay.
We're getting there. I think a lot of it's going to depend, like June was saying, on Saquon. I think they have until Monday, if I'm not mistaken, to get this done. So
before because training camp starts.
Yeah.
So he starts getting fined.
I'm just here.
Show up. So I don't get fined.
Right. That's the fact. Yo, what y'all think the Cowboys are gonna do this year? What's their over under EP?
On what? Dak's
Is it are the
interceptions?
Cowboys a playoff team next year? That's funny.
Ooh. Are the Cowboys a playoff team next year? What do you think, Kev?
I think I'm usually a lot higher on the Cowboys than most people, just because I
Okay.
think Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, is consistently one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think he's shown that with no matter who's at receiver. I think he's helped receivers get paid, which I feel like really puts you over the top as far as like great quarterbacks. If you can help receivers get better and they go somewhere else and they don't really have quite the production, it's usually a quarterback or a system thing.
That's
So
facts.
so I think Dak Prescott is consistently, when, like I said, when he's healthy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think he's always going to put his team
Yeah.
at least in a position to be a playoff team.
I don't. Vegas doesn't have a line
Yeah,
for them right now, but
Vegas
Which is
knows what they're doing. I agree with Kev though. I think on paper it's a playoff team. On the field, we've seen them go and compete in this division and be one of the best teams. The Eagles really is the question. I guess we'll get to that. Like I feel they might have the more not one and done, but like they're gonna have as good of a season as the Giants as they did last year versus like the Giants having as good of a season as they did last year. So like we'll talk about that when we talk about the Eagles. But with the Cowboys, I you have Micah Parsons on your defense, right? You have a guy like CeeDee Lamb outside. You have quarterback like Dak Prescott, who I think we talked about last week, Russell Wilson coming back, not having as bad of a year as he had last year. Things get bad at times, during a career. This is a journey we're watching. But we'll look back at 2022 and be like, wow, I remember when Dak, threw 15 interceptions but beat Tom Brady in the playoffs for Tom Brady's last game. Like, I guess. But I do agree with Kevin and think they'll get back.
Yeah, we're gonna see them in the playoffs. It's America's team, from what I've heard. We see them compete every year. We see them be as consistent at being inconsistent, but still managing to pull it off. And I think that's what we'll continue to see this year, man.
Shout out to the Super Bowl champion, wishful Philadelphia Eagles fans. Unfortunately, the Eagles did not win, and the Chiefs won. I just made that joke because EP is a Chiefs fan. He gets to talk until September 7th, which is week 1. And if they win, then you still get that week until week 2, because I'm going to know on Thursday night. And then, you go from there, from week 2, until you lose, really, then you got to just cut it out. But no, man, Eagles got an exciting offense, 2 great receivers. They're probably top 3 in the league for arguably 1, but top 3 in the league for best wide receiver duo. Kev, would you put Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd over them?
Oh, over
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, yeah. Okay. Agreed. So, but nonetheless, they have that on their offense.
I think I hope nobody in my fantasy league is watching this, but I'm looking to take Jamar Chase pretty high this year because I think he's gonna have a
we hope to. Not for your draft purposes, but
Yeah, skip this part.
That's hilarious.
Spoilers. Hilarious.
He says we're gonna literally delay so that it's like let them think we're done. No, Eagles, they traded for DeAndre Swift. That was a big pickup. They drafted Jalen obviously got all these guys from Georgia and been like the talk of the offseason and drafted and everything just looks like it's and it's precise for Lamar just winning one Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Feel like I think it's like so that I feel like the favorite to win division. Their defense took a shot, and the Cowboys have a chance to take this division this year. They really do.
The Cowboys. I mean, I think that you mentioned, June, that they've never had a repeat champion. I was going to ask, do you think that? Well, not never, but it's been a while, since like 20 years now, or something like that, right?
You hear?
do you think
You see what I'm saying?
you think the Eagles? I think the Eagles can repeat as NFC champions, NFC East champions this year, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to carry them.
Yeah, I think a lot like the Giants, it comes down to quarterback play for them. Like all the talent is everywhere on the field for them. Like they don't really have many holes anywhere. So it's a matter of, can Jalen Hurts be who he was last year? And he hasn't shown, like, all he's done his whole career is like prove people wrong and like just continue to get better. So there's no reason
Right.
at this point to doubt him anymore and think he's not going to continue to be as good as he was last year. But you still have to question it because it was 1 year. So can he repeat that and do it again and win an MVP this year? If he can, then obviously they'll win the division.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily me thinking that Jalen Hurts can't do what he did last year. It's more so thinking that I think the Cowboys can be better than they were last year in competing for this division. And I think that at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts can do as much as he does, and that Eagles defense and the rest of the team is going to have to still, hold their end of the bargain down. And you don't see that every year where a whole team is playing consistent all season for back-to-back years. And that's why dynasties become so. It's going to be interesting to see. The stat has, like I said, since like the 04 season, nobody has repeated in that division, and the Eagles won last year. There were seasons during that time that you knew the Eagles had a chance or the Cowboys had a chance to go back-to-back. And you could have argued it, but nobody has done it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say that's the only reason, but I also mentioned my reasons for the Cowboys as far as why I think they can win. So,
and even beyond the Cowboys, you also mentioned, the Giants and how
tough
they've
division.
gotten better. So yeah, and really, you look around football and it feels like there's so much parity around the league because every team has so much. Well, not every team, but there's a lot of teams with a lot of talent on there. But then you look at the guy who just won a fucking Super Bowl on one leg, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, he got talent.
Yeah, he's got fucking talent for 3 people.
You checked out that quarterback show? You said you finished the 8 episodes?
I finished all 8, yeah. I finished all 8 episodes. And he's on it. So,
what do you think about it?
I think it's a great show. Like, it's interesting to see the dynamic between quarterback and coach, the 3 of them really. With what each of them went through throughout the season, it's like a very different dynamic for all 3 of them. And so to see that was cool. To see the way they, are off the field is interesting. I don't really like care too much about like their home stuff and what they do at home, but like to see like the locker room stuff, just the things that you don't get to see.
It's behind the scenes, and you get to see like the meetings and how the dialogue is in the conferences and in the team meetings and practice fields. It's cool because you also have a sense of like the bond and relationship between others, So I've always loved Hard Knocks for that reason. I've always loved when the Colts put out content on our team, just at practice, or like the Colts. They really do a cool thing with it's called with the first pick, and so they'll do like a docu series throughout the whole draft process for the Colts, and you're like in the in the green room draft night, and you see how they were and emotions were high during especially this year. The Colts were in a situation, not to get off topic, but the Colts were in a situation where it was like we didn't know who was going to get taken. We didn't know who was going to trade up at a point because we were at number 4. Should we stay and give up something? And we ended up getting the guy we wanted. So it was just a cool feat to see how the Colts media team put that together. But Hard Knocks with the Jets is also going to be interesting. I did want to bring that up real quick because we're on that. But what are you most excited to see from Hard Knocks this year? Because they always going to feature a few players. They're always going to feature some of the cool family members. They're going to have, obviously, you'll learn something about somebody at the football facility, and then they have like the guys that are going to get cut or like the guy that makes the team. So what are you most excited for Jets Hard Knocks?
I mean, obviously I'm excited to see us, like, it's the first time since I've been alive that we're like real legitimate Super Bowl contenders. That
I thought you were going to say on Hard Knocks.
No. Let's get a fucking snack is legendary. Let's get a goddamn snack.
Facts.
That's the greatest. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm just excited to see just the atmosphere at training camp and the way things are. I'm just overall, like, there's nothing specific that I can think of. Like, we know who Aaron Rodgers is for the most part. The young guys, like, they do like you said about Colts social media. Like, the Jets social media team does a really good job of like really showing the players like coming off the field, going on the field. So like you really feel like a sense of like, oh, you know the player.
You're right, for sure.
So there's a lot of players that I'm like looking forward to seeing, like Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Brees. I'm looking forward to Brees, probably Brees Hall actually. The Brees Hall like process of bringing
his story
him back,
and
like,
process of rehab is going to be dope.
Yeah,
that's going to be great.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm if there's
for.
one thing, probably Brees Hall.
Okay, I can take that. I feel I'm always excited for Hard Knocks because at the end of the day, I like football and I want to see behind the scenes and how everything works and relationship with player and coach. And you also, I feel, learn more, so would it be in the Jets again and then be in a prime position, with the quarterback finally, a good head coach and a talented team? We could either see like one of the better seasons of Hard Knocks ever and Jets history in recent memory, or we could see like another just typical like Jets just hyped up, let the crowd down moment. And that's going to be, like it will be televised is what I'm saying. So like y'all on stage.
Last time we were on Hard Knocks, we made the AFC Championship game. So
that's true.
That's true. Fact. Damn.
That's true.
It's a good omen.
There are good omens and bad omens.
Lately, Hard Knocks has not been a good omen. I want to put that.
Hey, the Colts melted down on Hard Knocks. We played the Raiders at home and we played the Jaguars on the road and lost both two. We could have won one to go to the playoffs. Oh, Carson Wentz, bro. So, EP, who you think's winning this division?
Damn. I think it's tough to say because, like you said, you gotta take into consideration.
I think you hit your mic.
My fault. Did I hit it? Am I good?
You good? Yeah, you good.
You gotta take into consideration that there hasn't, like I said, there hasn't been a team that repeated in this division, even though the Eagles are heavily favored.
It was like the thinking sound.
Yeah. Even though the Eagles are heavily favored, I know you said you like Dallas. I'm gonna give the division to the Giants this year.
Wow. He's like, Kev. He's like, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Fuck.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
all
be
This
the
right.
guy.
guy,
I'm gonna
this
be
is
the
the guy who
guy that
picked.
says
This is the guy who
the
went
Giants win the
Braves.
division.
This is the guy who went Braves Rays as his World Series prediction, and now he decides to go
Braves Rays isn't
Giants.
as bad of a take.
Yeah,
No,
hey,
I
I don't
mean,
think.
I'm saying that's like a very like you're picking
Right,
two
okay.
favorites. Now
Okay.
he's just like going the opposite way. He's like, I'm picking. You might as well pick the Commanders, to be honest.
if
you're right. I
you're
thought
gonna
about
put
it.
your
I'm not
money on the
gonna
Giants, put your money on
lie.
Washington.
Oh
That's called a
man, I
bad bet.
don't know. I see Dallas doing some Dallas shit and not winning the division, and I mean, it's either
Let
gonna
me
be the
ask you
Eagles.
this: do you think the Eagles are gonna have close to as good of a season as they did last year?
Absolutely.
Let's take into account, like when we remember last year. I mean, they went undefeated for like almost 9 weeks,
Damn.
or maybe
Yeah.
almost 10 weeks or something. They were like 9-1 or 8-1.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you. And they also were running through teams. Like they were embarrassing people. And Jalen Hurts was doing things like week to week. So it's not the talent, it's how high of a level they played to get where they were. You know, like as much as you think, oh, we're good and we're gonna go back, like, do you think the Eagles are gonna go back to the Super Bowl in the NFC? Like we saw in week 1, the Lions played a really good game until the Eagles came back and beat them. But like that same Lions team came back to be, bless you, a
Thank you.
very competitive late team that kept Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. There's a lot of talent, like Kev said. There's a lot of parity in the league, and teams are more evenly balanced, and divisions are I guess more competitive, top to bottom. So I don't know that we can just say the Eagles are going to win the NFC East and win the NFC. You know, and I'm not saying you guys are, but just to do it as a team is tough. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes.
I'm saying that the Eagles are going to win the NFC East.
Okay, would you say they win the NFC?
Ooh.
I'd like to see San Francisco get a fair shot.
What's a fair shot? Having 3 quarterbacks on their roster?
I mean,
I'm just
Having-
asking. I'm just asking.
having one that could someone to throw the ball, just anybody that's like.
Oh, I
capable.
know. I get it. It's
But-
just, you know. Hey man,
Yeah.
I think the Eagles. Obviously, I'm not like gonna say the Cowboys. It's not like that. I think the Cowboys can win this division, and they probably will. But I clearly know the Eagles can get this division.
And it's also sometimes it's really not about having the best team. Sometimes it's about who's playing the best football when it comes December and January. Because the Giants, when Asante Samuel dropped that interception, by the way,
Who?
Asante Samuel, when he dropped that interception,
No, I know. First of all, shout out to Asante Samuel.
like that Giants team wasn't a better team than the 18-0 Patriots. Like they got hot at the right time, and their defense was playing crazy football at the right time. So it's the Giants have enough talent to be that team this year. If they can get hot at the right time and get into the playoffs,
Yeah, they do.
I think they have the defense to go out there and keep it low scoring enough for Daniel Jones to do what he needs to do.
And they're athletic. That defense is athletic. So, I mean, Giants would be a surprise pick to win the division. I'm not gonna lie. I don't see them beating Dallas twice or the Eagles twice. And I feel like to win that division, you got to beat one of those teams twice. So I don't know, but it'll be exciting to see this year in this division competing.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You want to wrap it up?
Damn, we didn't do any of that stuff at the beginning because I was gone, huh? I'm just excited for soccer season.
We
That's all I
good.
really
We
gotta say.
good. I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just
funny.
excited for soccer season. It's a month away. Football season's almost here. We're in the dark days of sports, man. Like us
Very
handicappers
dark.
didn't have anything to do this week. I almost went to the casino. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I
No way.
Hey, I told you over the
Proud of
last
you.
couple pods. I've been studying blackjack for like 2.5, 3 months now. I'm gonna go test,
Test the waters.
test it out. Yeah, test the water. That Seminole
Okay.
Classic though first. I'm gonna start.
Okay. Coconut Creek
Did you
vibe.
see? Did you see Messi in Publix?
He finally went.
Yeah, somebody ran into Messi in Publix and took a
That's
picture.
Damn, remember the tweet? It was like, no, when you see Messi in Publix, you're gonna be like, yeah.
He lives at the Porsche Tower in Sunny Isles. Apparently, he's got a condo over there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's a very nice, very nice place.
I didn't
I used to
know
work right
that
by
they
there.
have there's an elevator in the Porsche Tower, and it's a car elevator, and it takes your car to your
Yes.
floor.
And I always thought, I'm like, what if you really got to take a piss, and you're just like, that feeling when you pull into your crib and it's like, oh, okay, now I can.
Now I
It's like
can
you pull
go.
into
It's
your
like-
crib and you gotta wait for the elevator, and you're like,
I feel like you know what though, that becomes your routine. Like, you don't pull into the crib and just walk out. Excuse me. You'll definitely like, all right, pulling into the. All right, we're almost there. We're going up. We're almost there. But I feel you still too, because there's an anxiety. It's just as you approach the house.
yeah, it's like your body just knows it's coming.
You know what else you know what's coming? Hazing in college.
Oh,
Oh, facts. That's
that's
funny. That was a great. That was yo fam.
Oh,
man.
hey man, look. It's sad, but it's true. Honestly, it's one of those things. But yeah, Pat Fitzgerald out at Northwestern. He's been there since what, Kev? Like 08?
17
Been there
years is
for-
what this shit just said.
So, and he played linebacker there. So it's
And this kid plays tight end there.
odd to see because the relationship is so strong with him in the what would you say, the program.
You
But,
think his kid snitched on him?
His kid, I hope his kid did not snitch.
Did not the whistleblower athlete did leave the school.
Why do they call it whistleblower? Why is there like a proper term for that?
I don't know.
They should
That is
just
the
left it
proper
like
term.
I don't know. I think
Like
it's like
snitch?
the tattletale. The tattletale. Like, that's what they told us. The first one they taught us, rip tattletale. Like
Oh man,
you talking about whistleblower.
they
ain't
did
Game
leave
of
the school,
Thrones?
and his son is still a freshman tight end there. So
Oh, so he's getting all the hazing.
Hey yo.
Right? Like that's how it works.
Right? Exactly. Right. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I've
didn't
never
go,
been
I didn't go
there.
to
I don't-
university. Yeah, I didn't go to university. So, not Northwestern or Penn State or.
I got some friends that went to
Something about that.
some D1 schools that pledged frats, and I've heard some stories about, it gets, yeah, that's what I'll say.
Well, little baby said it could get ugly. yo. Oh man.
But
Kev, you ever seen that? Kev, real quick, you ever seen the episode of South Park? Cartman basically wants to be up for adoption. He wants to like go live in an orphanage, and so he like. Anyways, if you know type shit. Go watch that when you can. It's a funny episode.
I thought you were gonna say the one where he's like in front of Congress and he starts singing "Heat of the Moment."
Cartman.
One of the greatest cartoon characters of all time.
If not, but probably not, but he's up there. That's a conversation we'll have to have. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we definitely got to do.
I never
that
thought about that topic. That's like a random topic for me, at least.
But no, I was just gonna say we haven't talked basketball, and I know we're getting
Right.
to the end, but I just wanted to talk about Dame real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really want to talk about anything unless it's Dame Lillard to the Heat.
The diary. The
Well,
diary entry.
So yeah, exactly. Every week we're doing a Dame diary entry until the
he's
trade
a
is
Heater.
done.
I
But
respect it.
Cronin is being a baby at this point, from what it sounds like, because he hasn't even tried to sit down and have a meaningful conversation with the Heat. So how can you try to trade your player to his destination without knowing what you have that you can get back? But I also read a story this morning regarding James Harden and him trying to force his way to the Clippers. And it's just so funny to me because what the fuck do the Clippers have to offer Philly? But why is nobody making a big deal about this?
And the
Nobody's
Clippers
like,
don't even want to trade Terrence Mann.
but it's so exactly. So, and I was just gonna say, like,
Like,
first of
what
all,
are we-
Terrence Mann as your best piece, he's not better than Tyler Hero. Terrence Mann is not a better basketball player than Tyler Hero. So, I like, what are we doing really? They don't have picks. We know they don't have picks because they gave them all to OKC. So they've got as many picks to trade as Miami does. I don't. But there's no outrage. Bill Simmons isn't hopping on his podcast like, but what? Why?
You know
can't
why?
James
Because
Harden-"
Dame Lillard is a perennial All-Star, top 10 player.
Is that why? I was thinking more because it's Pat Riley and the Miami Heat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say they both. Of course, that's why, Kevin. You're right. But like, as well, like we're not talking about James Harden trying to force his way to the Heat right now. We're talking about Dame Lillard, so it's like a whole different sentiment.
We should start this weekly segment with that song that they play at the end of the Heat games when the Heat win.
The Heat is on. That one, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, that Pepa song,
gotta retire
it kind of it gotta retire it because I'm hurt every time I hear that shit. I'm hurt. I'm like, because I think like, what if I hear that shit in the club right now and we had won the championship? That would be the best song every time it comes on. I would think about the championship.
Also, it just hurts me that Vic isn't going to be here, and
it does, but it doesn't. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Vic. It hurts me more that Vic is in a situation he's in.
Well, no, I think if situation he might be
fair, but I still wouldn't care. Like, it doesn't. It's cool. I'm good.
And I think we might. We could have won the championship. Maybe.
I love Vic. Listen, I think his defense is amazing. His inconsistent shooting and his will to fucking unload the clip at times is a little questionable. I loved him as a piece on this team, but I'm cool. I wish him the best. I like him as a player. I just wish he never got hurt like that.
And fuck you, Paul Pierce. You suck.
Oh, you heard that, right?
He sucks. He's so bad. He's so bad. He's so bad.
And it's crazy because Paul Pierce he's a baller. He's a hooper.
Yeah, but like
he's just a clown.
Like it's like Draymond said, bro. Nobody cares about you, bro. You think you Kobe?
Like, remember when he threw the shit and they threw it back?
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Yo.
Come on, bro.
Come on.
Get out of here. This guy showed up like high, drunk to KG's shit. KG's trying to tell me, we're live. We're live. He's like,
that's crazy.
What? Get out of here.
Nah, he's like, I hired a high like he was wild. He was wild.
Get out of here.
100%. And then today he's talking with Tracy McGrady. Exactly. Like, why did Rachel Nichols and Tracy McGrady invite Paul Pierce? And I understand. Like, I get why. Like, running mates, you respect them as a person, but like, and you have a relationship with them, but like, you have to understand that. I guess this is what you want, right? I guess that's what they want. They want the tweet to say, exactly. They want the tweet to say the Heat are not going to be as good according to Paul Pierce. You know how that sounds when somebody from Boston says something about the Heat?
Like we just beat them.
That's why last week it was Kevin O'Connell, Bill Simmons, whoever Kathy, whatever her
Clowns.
name was.
Clown
Boston.
show.
Boston. Shout out to the
Clown
Red
show.
Sox talking about Boston.
Another clown show.
Yeah. Yankees without Judge. Clown show.
Very much. But we just hired Sean Casey.
That's the one. That's the one that got. That's funny. But I mean, we still got what, 2.5 months left?
Sean Casey, new hitting coach.
1.5 months, probably. What we got?
Yeah, about a month and a half.
Yeah, about a month and a half.
Yeah, they call the All-Star break the midway point, but it's not the midway point at all.
way past
In like
that.
any sport, it's like it's like second half of the season. It's like that started already.
Football technically, because it's after the season, so it's like after, so it's a half point between that and next season. But that's just all right. So, y'all got anything else?
Nope.
All right, real quick. Did you see the guy that was involved with the Jalen Carter car accident? Or, he was in the car with the other person. He basically sued. He sued Jalen Carter. It's a good move.
I mean, timing.
Of course.
Wait, he
Rookie
signed.
deal?
He signed yet? Can I sue
Right.
now?
Hold on.
Hold on
Hold
until we get
Yeah.
the Schefter tweet.
Definitely, yeah. So, all right.
Uh,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, one thing just on the staying on baseball real quick was about the Marlins. I really think they got a good shot. They just need to make a move. Fans are showing up to the ballpark. I think it's time for them to, show. Nolan Arenado says he's not surprised.
I
He wouldn't be
know.
surprised if he gets traded.
I don't know. But I Craig Mish said he doesn't expect anything from Arenado. That's what threw me off. Not threw me off, but like made me feel okay. I'm not even gonna put more thought into that because I would love to entertain that. I would.
Yeah,
like,
but
come on.
and not even necessarily Arenado, but like go show
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fan base that you're serious about winning because you have it's a year right now where you're
Not Starling
there.
Marte.
Yeah.
right. Like make a real
I get what you're
serious
saying.
move
Exactly.
and show the
get what
fan
you're
base
saying.
that you're serious.
You said Shohei?
That's a hell of a rental.
Yeah. Messi, Shohei. Think about that.
I went to the final
Dame,
for the World Baseball Classic. There's a big Japanese fan base down here.
Dame,
I will
Messi, Shohei, Chuck. Chuck. None of them are from America.
It's a melting
Oh,
pot.
Dame. I said Dame. I'm
Yeah.
tripping. Dame. Who do we? Omer Yurtsev is not on the team anymore.
Jovic.
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 Nah, that's funny, yo. Hell no.
International
Hell
affairs.
That's funny, yo. Hey, Pitbull will be a big thing again. I'm sure we'll see him at a Super Bowl one of these years. Shout to Pitbull, man. Shout to Khaled, shout to Ross, shout to DJ Sam Sneak, Iceberg. Shout out to the 305 Daddy, Uncle Luke, Trina. Shout out to him. So, y'all got anything else?
No, sir.
Adios. Adios, amigos. Thank y'all for listening, man.